Yuzu is dead, and Nintendo ensured that Yuzu is dead. It's only been a week and Yuzu has settled. Yuzu has folded. $2.4 million in Nintendo's pocket. The developers are also no longer allowed to legally work on Yuzu. They were also forced to put out a public statement. All downloads, whether it be the source code or the binaries themselves, have been taken down. Nintendo has seized the website, but most unfortunately, Citra, a 3DS emulator made by the same developers, has been taken down as well. How did Nintendo win? Well, they never actually went to trial. Yuzu just folded immediately. Some say Yuzu did this to take a bullet for the greater good of emulation, that Yuzu did this to prevent a sort of precedent. And while yes, technically this didn't become a court case that you can quote for a precedent, the fact of the matter is, I think this is only just the beginning. See, the main reason why Yuzu was ultimately defeated was because Nintendo made the argument that Yuzu made unofficial use of Nintendo's own prod keys. You know, the prod keys and title keys that you have to provide yourself. Typically, you would need to provide these from your own Nintendo Switch, but even doing it the quote-unquote legal way is still frowned upon by Nintendo. The fact that you're using Nintendo's stuff at all is ultimately frowned upon. This is very unfortunate because there's another Switch emulator that uses the same method of decrypting games. Ryujinx decrypts games in the same manner. You need to provide your own title and prod keys from an actual hacked Switch. For people saying that Ryujinx is safe, I don't think they'll be safe for much longer. You may be asking why they didn't also target Ryujinx at the same time, which is a good point, but I believe Nintendo targeted Yuzu specifically because it was the bigger of the two. And it's much easier to crucify the bigger target. It's a show of force, a show of power, and making an example out of Yuzu works. I also have my concerns over emulators that make use of official system BIOSes, you know, stuff like PCSX2, a PS2 emulator that makes use of official PS2 BIOS files. Sure, it's a console that has no official support, that has no new games coming out for it. So while Nintendo officially didn't set a precedent for emulation or anything, the fact is that Sony could see Nintendo's strategy and try to copy that strategy against PCSX2 and RPCS3 and even DuckStation. Honestly, at this point, I'm just spitballing. There's no telling what'll happen. Yuzu has ended, but this is clearly the beginning of something else. Could this be the beginning of the end of emulation? I certainly hope not, because emulation is the only way to preserve some of these games. Games out there that are literally only playable on dead hardware. Hardware that's no longer being supported. This is also why more games should be released on PC. PC is more or less an eternal platform. While games may be delisted for a number of reasons on PC, the fact of the matter is it's on PC, it's already preserved. And if it's been on the internet, then it certainly will never go away, not forever at least. As for Yuzu and Citra, Yuzu seems to have plenty of forks available. Many people have forked over Yuzu and have rebranded it. But given like this is the day after Judgment, there's no telling if Nintendo will take action against them. They might be able to, and I'm sure they probably will, but who knows. And even outside of that, there's Ryujinx. Ryujinx is still available and Nintendo hasn't taken action against them yet. Will they take action? There's no telling if they will. But the cool thing is that Ryujinx itself is also open source. As for Citra, well, Citra itself is open source. And I'm sure some people have forked Citra itself to try to keep it alive. But among 3DS emulators, Citra was ultimately the best. There are some alternatives though, like Panda 3DS and Mikage. I haven't tested out either of these, but it's only a matter of time before they too catch up to Citra. It's also crazy because people thought that Nintendo would sue Palworld, but no, they went around and sued Yuzu. Funny how these things turn out, right? If you like this video, please press the like button and check out our other videos. And if you like those other videos as well, be sure to press the subscribe button and share the good gospel of high-tech lowlife with your friends. Furthermore, we have a community Discord for enlightened individuals such as you. And if you wish to further support high-tech lowlife, be sure to check out our Patreon page. Links in the description.